You've described this deal as a full and comprehensive deal, and yet we've just heard from Mr. Mandelson it's the end of the beginning. Clearly, there's much more work still to do. With respect, are you overstating the reach and significance of this deal because you're a president who needs a result at a difficult time?
What a train wreck. Even as Donald Trump single-handedly puts us on a path towards recession and inflation because of these ridiculous and unnecessary trade wars that he's triggered with not just our top trading partners, but also the rest of the world, all in the name of eliminating trade deficits, Trump has also been setting the American people's expectations extraordinarily high, boasting for weeks and months that he would be inking these 90 trade deals in 90 days. It would be landmark in nature. Now he's panicking because his poll numbers are underwater. So as we speak, he's talking in the Oval Office about a trade deal with our 11th biggest trading partner, the United Kingdom. But we have a trade surplus with them, not a trade deficit. And it's not actually a deal so much as it is the framework of a future deal. And even though Trump insists it's conclusive and it's major, he also says, well, things might change because the details are still being negotiated. This is a total disaster and a desperate attempt for this man to save his ass. And we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have many clips to look at here, but just to give you a snapshot of how Donald Trump, in his extraordinary cognitive impairment, is looking at this deal, conceptualizes this deal. Look no further than this.
It's a very big deal right now, but I think it is going to grow just of its own volition. It's going to grow, and over time there'll be changes made, there'll be adjustments made because we're flexible. We'll see things that we can do even better. But it's very conclusive, and
So it's very conclusive, but also things are going to change. Adjustments will be made. Details are still being worked out, and those will probably change. But like it's conclusive, but like in a way that also changes. Like he just has no idea what the hell he's doing. He's desperate. He's flailing. So we're going to play some more clips, but just to give you some context of what's going on, because this is an ongoing development. Here's the latest, courtesy of the New York Times. Donald Trump said Britain had agreed to increase market access for billions of dollars of American exports, including beef, ethanol, and other farm products, under a new trade deal, but left many of the details to be worked out later. The agreement, promoted by Trump as the first of many that will result from his efforts to blow up the global trading system, appeared to be more of a framework than a full trade deal. Both sides agreed to drop tariffs on specific products and made general agreements in other areas, but officials from both governments will still need to meet in the coming months to hammer out specific language. That can be a tricky and difficult process, leaving open the possibility the agreement could still fall apart. So let me just stop you right there before we do anything else. This is a framework. It's not a deal. Trump promised 90 deals. Wet ink on paper, 90 deals in 90 days. We're 30 days in to, this tariff pause, and this is the best he can come up with, a framework for a deal with our 11th biggest trading partner with whom we had a trade surplus, not a deficit, assuming stupidly that trade deficits are bad in the first place, which we don't, but even by his own lights, this is a failure. And it will take months, according to both governments, to still negotiate the terms and put ink to paper. And then it has to be ratified by Congress. What a disaster. But we'll continue. Britain occupies number 11 on the spot of the United States' biggest trading partners. It represented 2.9% of total U.S. trade in the first quarter of the year. And the leaders of both nations invoked the deep relationship between their countries in a joint announcement on Thursday. Speaking from the Oval Office with the Prime Minister Keir Starmer of Britain on speakerphone, Trump called it a great deal for both countries. Mr. Starmer called it a really fantastic historic day and pointed out that it was the 80th anniversary of Winston Churchill announcing victory in Europe in the Second World War, invoking one of Trump's favorite historical figures. I don't know if he's talking about Churchill or Hitler, but we'll see. The agreement will leave in place a 10% tariff that Trump imposed on Britain and other nations globally at the beginning of the year, but it will pare back other tariffs Trump imposed on British steel, aluminum, and automobiles. In return, the British will open up access to beef, poultry, ethanol, soft drinks, cereal, and other products. The British government said tariffs on its auto exports to the United States would fall from 27.5% to 10% for a quota of 100,000 British vehicles. It also said U.S. tariffs on British steel would fall to zero. Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, and we got a clip of him, said Rolls-Royce engines and plane parts will come over tariff-free, while the United Kingdom will buy $10 billion of Boeing airplanes. Although Trump officials framed the deal as a result of aggressive tariffs Trump imposed around the world, there's been a long-standing interest in an agreement. Trump discussed the possibility of a trade deal with Britain in his first term, while British officials have eyed an agreement with the United States since Brexit as a way to offset reduced trade with Europe. So, that's what we know so far. Framework of a deal. Details are going to take months to negotiate. The deal could still fall apart. Trump is trying to cover his ass. We've got more clips of Trump, and they are just bizarre. But here's how an economist describes the impact of the framework that Trump is providing.
A source telling CNN tonight that Trump is going to announce a trade deal with the UK tomorrow. Is that something you would consider a major trade deal?
No. So let's get some numbers and some context for the people at home. The United Kingdom, wonderful country, lovely people, love myself some fish and chips, don't mind their beer, but they're our 11th largest trading partner. They account for 3% of American trade. And if I took off all my shoes and socks and got 4 more people in the room, I'd be able to tell you that that leaves 97% of American trade are absolutely up in the air. Now, Laura, I want to tell you one more fact that will blow your mind. Go back 6 weeks ago. The average tariff the United Kingdom charged to countries around the world was 1%. That's the stakes here. So the best we can do is knock the United Kingdom down from 1% to 0, and it's already clear we didn't get them to 0. And along the way, the president is imposing a 10% tariff on the United Kingdom, making it harder for Americans to do business with trading partners over in the old Dart.
So why do you think he's announcing?
So, put it in perspective, this is so far afield from the landmark deal that Trump promised. But hey, Trump was actually confronted about this by reporters. He was like, listen, are you sure you're not overhyping this because you're trying to save your ass because you're in political jeopardy?
James Matthews from Sky News.
Yes.
Can I ask, why Britain and why now? And you've described this deal as a full and comprehensive deal, and yet we've just heard from Mr. Mandelson it's the end of the beginning. Clearly, there's much more work still to do.
Yeah.
With respect, are you overstating the reach and significance of this deal because you're a president who needs a result at a difficult time?
I think that it's a great deal for both parties. It's for us. We're opened up. I didn't know how closed it was. Quite closed, the market, as you know, the UK. And it opens up a tremendous market for us. And it works out very well, very well. And a lot of assets. You see the chart, and those are tremendous assets. But we've been trying, and when you say why us, meaning your country, we've been trying for years, and they've been trying for years to make a deal, including when I was in the, first term. It would always be people talking, but they weren't getting it done. But for 25 years before that, they were trying always to make a deal, a very significant deal. I actually, until I looked at the numbers, I didn't realize this is a very conclusive deal, but we think we can grow it even from that. But this is a maxed out deal, not like you said it. You said it really incorrectly. This is a maxed out deal that we're going to make bigger, and we make it bigger through growth. But we have tremendous assets involved. I was surprised to see how big your country is in trade, actually.
It's a maxed out deal. Maxed out. Think about what the phrase maxed out means. It means, by definition, it's as big as it can get. You have maximized it. You've maxed it out. You've hit the limit. You can't exceed the limit. Then he says, it's going to get bigger. What the hell does that mean? It's conclusive, but details are still being worked out. It's going to take months to do. I mean, the reporter had it nailed. Like, Trump is absolutely overhyping this in a desperate attempt to reverse the polls. It's brutal, brutal stuff. We've got some other clips to play, and I guess we're going to start with some of the ass kissing from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. I mean, this is just Soviet, North Korea, Maoist China, obsequious bullshit that will make your skin crawl.
By the way, I want to make this clear. While Jameson and I worked hard, this was the president's deal. And people think, oh, that's not the way it works. If you got to sit next to him, I have the best deal maker to my left. And if you don't think that we take advantage of him calling the prime minister and getting that deal done, You don't understand who's the President of the United States. So he's the closer. He gets deals done that we could never get done because he understands business, he understands deals, and that's why we...
Ooh, it's just so creepy. It really is. It's just, this is what we've become. We are so, I don't even know what to say. We've just fallen so far. We really have. It's disgraceful. And then he gives us another 30 seconds of maximum cringe. Maxed out cringe.
So we feel really good about the deal. You've heard the Prime Minister. He feels really good about the deal, right? And we started at 10% and we ended at 10%. And the market for America is better. And this is a perfect example of why Donald Trump produced Liberation Day. People don't understand. He gets things done in a matter of time. This would have taken Jameson and I 3 years, maybe. And
Okay, just a couple of things, okay? Note just the body language here. While Lutnick is like totally prostrating himself, even JD Vance like, bro, dial it down a little bit, offering right there finally a sad smile. Trump looks bored. Like even Trump is like, bro, yes, I want you to kiss my ass, but I don't want you to be so obvious about it. I want to feel like, you know, I want you to fake it, but convince me, right? Like that's what he wants. And the guy in the back behind Lutnick was looking down the whole time like, oh my God, I hope the aperture is such that I am not in the shot. Well, you were, sir. You were, and we saw the embarrassment on your face. This is so sad. And by the way, again, I've said it before, and I will say it again, but if this ever happened under a Democratic president, I'd feel the same way. I understand when you work in an administration, you have to be deferential and publicly supportive of the president. I get it. That is part of the business. Totally understand. But fuck, do we have to, does it have to be this cringe? No, it doesn't, because it wasn't before, at least not with the non-Trump presidents that we have been fortunate to have. Yeah, got some other clips to play. We're going to do some other videos about this because Trump has said some other things of significance that we have to talk about. But what about other deals?
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. How close are you to more deals, and when do you expect the next to be announced?
Well, very close. We have numerous deals. I know Howard's going back. As soon as this is finished, your press conference, he's got numerous. And Scott, who's right over here, who's fantastic, by the way. You were great on television this morning. I watched you. That was very good. You gave them a little lesson in the world and economics. But Scott's going to be going to Switzerland, meeting with China. And, they very much want to make a deal. We can all play games. Who made the first call? Who didn't make the... It doesn't matter. It only matters what happens in that room.
He's still pissed off about that. The China said that Trump was the one who initiated the talks. But there you go. The best way... Wow, they're in progress. But again, 90 deals, 90 days. This is the first one. It's not even a deal. It's a framework for an agreement. The details have to be negotiated for months. And Trump says things may change and the whole thing may collapse. This is just a total disaster. And it's partly his fault because he was the one who set the expectations this high. Remember, the art of the deal, master negotiator. We're going to get these deals are going to be so great. If he had set expectations accordingly, like calibrated, like, hey, this is going to be a tool for, catalyzing discussions, and we're going to get frameworks of deals as quickly as we possibly can to give the American people kind of set their expectation for what might be coming down. No, he didn't do that. 90 deals, 90 days, pen on paper, it'd be done. Boom, 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 signed, sealed, delivered, totally done. It's not happening, at least so far. So MAGA is no doubt desperate to spin this, even though if the shoe were on the other foot and this were under Joe Biden, they would rightly call it a total failure of expectation, especially the pain that it's accrued along the way. And like I said, there were other things that Trump said in this press conference, in these comments in the Oval Office that we have to unpack, particularly with respect to the pressure here at home. We'll do that in a different video. But in the meantime, regarding this, let me know what you think in the comments.